Hi, I'm Jay French from jfrenchstudios.com, and today I'm going to teach you how to draw an eye with Conte crayon. You might be working from a sketch to begin with, and you're probably looking at this as just part of a whole image, but we're going to show you some real details. We're just going to work from scratch. You want to start with getting your darkest areas in first, and get your outline as well. You want to get your shape of your eye. Of course, eyes are a myriad of different shapes, but we're going to get just a basic one in here. And remember to leave room for your tear duct. If you're working in color, you're still going to want to start out with blacks on something like an eye because it has some dark, dramatic areas. Eyelashes and eyelids will create such dark shadows that you will have some absolute blacks, usually. About all you're going to work with in the color, if you're working in color, is the iris, of course, the color of the iris. And then just some subtle pinks to the edges of your tear ducts, and then even on the outer edge you will often see a bit of the edge of the pink of the inside of the eyelid. So we've got our basic eye shape here. We want to really fill this in with some dark up here. Generally, lower lids, unless you're working on a woman's eye who's wearing a lot of eyeliner, are going to be a lot less prominent than the upper eyelid. Very important for getting a real impression of realism in an eye is get that upper lid. You also probably want a bit of the lower lid. And something that often people ask me not to draw when I'm doing caricatures or portraits. Oh, don't get the bags under my eyes. Well, as an expert on beauty, which I am, I would say that no single feature makes or breaks beauty. And if you ever wonder that, take a good look at Liv Tyler, one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood. Has very prominent lower eyelids. So for here, with an eye, you really want to get the impression of light. Almost always your light's going to be from above, perhaps to one side as well, but it's almost always going to be from above unless you are really doing an odd lower lighting effect. The eye, even the whites, will get some shading. You want some shading on the outer edge. And you can still use your very soft, dark pencil for this, or crayon. Get shading from the eyelid. Shading onto the actual eyeball. Now here we can go in with a harder, not quite as dark, to start getting the iris. You almost never, unless someone is shocked or really has their eyes wide open, you almost never see the entirety of the iris. You usually see, unless they're looking to a dramatic direction, you do see the entirety of the pupil. That came out actually darker, so good way to do an iris is to ray with strokes that start out heavy and lighten with your stroke towards the inside. They are darkest on the outside. Now you notice I left a gap here. What this is, of course, is your highlight, your shine from your light source. Don't be afraid to go in and actually put some shading on the iris. Again, if you're not working in color. If you're working in color, you're going to, of course, fill this with some color. Don't be afraid to mix colors if you're working in color. Green eyes are almost always a combination, adding browns and sometimes golds. But even blue eyes will have some perhaps silver flecks, gray flecks. Brown eyes can have gold flecks. Almost every eye color has a mixture. And there you have your basic lesson on how to draw a human eye in Conte crayon.